Hello, everybody. This is On Screen, Off Screen. We like to talk about the media that we've consumed and how our lives affect what we see, and then what we see and how we put it back into our lives. So, how about you tell us about this movie that you're so excited to tell us about, Conlon?
Okay, so right before we started, I said I get to talk about a movie I don't like, and I think that kind of tells you what I think about this movie. I don't like it. The day the Earth blew up, a Looney Tunes movie. I like the Looney Tunes. I even like that 2010-ish Looney Tunes movie that nobody else likes. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I like it. I was excited for this movie. It is back to hand drawn animation. As Daffy Duck, I love Daffy Duck. I was really excited for this, and I'm watching the movie, and I was like, you know what? This is a little bit more on the little kid side, but the animation is fantastic, really, really good. Lauren? Have you ever had a movie where you're watching it and you're like, the animation's really good, and it kind of blinds you to the fact that it sucks?
Yeah.
The third Puss in
Yeah.
Boots movie. Yeah.
What?
The
What'd you
third
say,
Puss
Josh?
in Boots movie.
Oh,
There's
you're an absolute moron. The last Puss in Boots movie was phenomenal. You're an idiot. It's so good. Anyway, the day the Earth blew up, the first part of it is honestly pretty decent. There's some good jokes in there. The animation is really good. Basically, Daffy and Porky are trying to save their home. It's failed an inspection, and they need money to be able to save their home. Daffy's keeps screwing up jobs over and over again in a very Looney Tunes kind of way, and it's humorous. They do a good job with it. And along with that storyline, you have an alien that's taking over the Earth. Daffy lives in this town where bubblegum is that's what they create. They create bubblegum. It's like they live in the Hubble bubble factory of a city. Um, and the alien infects the bubblegum with a parasite that controls your brain and turns you into a bubblegum zombie, where you just say chew, 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 which kind of works for Looney Tunes. It works for a little kid. Okay. You have this alien that you're like, okay, the alien's a big bad guy. We gotta beat the alien. The alien is infecting the chewing bubblegum and turning everybody into zombies. This works for Looney Tunes. If this was live action, it would suck. But for a cartoon, I'm like, okay, I can kind of get behind this. Daffy is trying to warn absolutely everybody because he connects to this plot that's going on with the alien. Nobody believes him. You're telling me chewing bubblegum is going to turn you into a zombie? Bull crap. They start to fight back, and the gum takes over and turns everybody into a zombie. They start to fight back. They get rid of the gum from people's brains that's controlling them, the ooze, whatever it is. And the alien gets really mad. It eventually leads to a part where they're fighting the main alien. And then this is about 2/3 of the movie, and I'm like, you know what? This is decent. I don't feel like I wasted my time. Sure, cool. I'm glad I watched it. Looney Tunes. I like Looney Tunes. The alien was trying to have all of the zombies chew the bubble gum and blow a bubble around Earth to keep an asteroid from destroying Earth. When I got to that part, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. The alien was a secret bad guy. You turn everybody to zombies? If you're that useful, you freaking talk to people, you dumbass alien. It actively pissed me off. I was like, this is so stupid. This is not Looney Tunes stupid. This is not okay because you had a little kid show. This is actively moronic. Dumb writers. So the alien was a really good guy. And the reason he wants to save Earth is because Earth has created the precious, the greatest thing of all time, boba tea.
I mean, that's true. That's fair.
No, it's not.
I even like boba tea, but are you out of your mind serious? That's what you decided to write? You stupid. Oh, man.
How old is this?
Like last year.
Okay.
It's pretty new. I was excited for this movie. Legitimately excited. I haven't seen a new Looney Tunes thing in a long time. And so they're like, oh, the bubble got popped. So the Earth is doomed because the asteroid's going to hit it. The only way that we can save it is with, there's a Miss Porky Pig, and Miss Porky Pig has been trying to get the perfect flavor, and she made a bubble gum that explodes your head. Good job, Miss Porky Pig. But they decide to get all of this bubble gum that explodes your head and put it into the asteroid. So they put all this gum in the asteroid, and they create little, like, Joker teeth, and the Joker teeth are going to chew the gum, and it's going to explode. Unfortunately, all the Joker teeth fall over. So, oh no, what's going to chew the gum? The entire time Daphne has been making mistakes and gets fired over and over again. Right? So, they're like trying to keep him out of the plan. They go and they have all this gum, and there's stalactites on the ceiling. And Porky's like, Daffy, go! And so he gets a hammer and just starts smashing the ground like a lunatic for whatever reason. And the stalactites are bouncing in the asteroid, and that counts as chewing the gum. I'm not making this shit up. This is... I cannot believe that this movie exists. It is so asininely stupid. And then the entire asteroid blows up, but Daffy and Porky were stuck to a piece of gum, so they couldn't get out of this asteroid that blew to smithereens. It is gone. And everybody's so sad that Daffy and Porky are dead. And then all of a sudden, they land on a rock in the middle of the street. Yay, they're alive. End of movie. Dumb! The fact that this has like a 7-something rating on IMDb is insane, because this movie sucks. A lot of horror movies fall apart at the end of the movie. This movie falls apart for the last third. Talk about bad thirds, Josh. This is awful.
Do I even dare ask you the rating?
Oh, friggin' screw this movie. I'm going to give it a 2 because there is impressive animation, and that gives it 1 point.
Here's my question. What
Yeah.
was your mental state going into and through this movie? Because I think you're the first person in history to criticize a Looney Tunes movie for its logic. They're called the Looney Tunes, and you got mad that they were a lunatic. Your word.
Dude, I get what you're saying. The first 2/3 of this movie is enjoyable enough. For real. It is what I expect from Looney Tunes. There's some childish stuff. There's some, like, ridiculous shenanigans. There's Looney Tunes behavior. Cool. The last third of this of this movie is just stupid. And I hate the whole, it was a fake villain. Why? Just, literally, the alien could have been like, I come in peace. There's a giant asteroid coming your way. I've got a plan to figure it out. Can I help you guys with the plan? And then they check and be like, oh, there is a giant asteroid coming this way. Let's do something about that. And at the end of the movie, and you could have done some cool Looney Tunes stuff with that. Like, the aliens are coming. He's a good alien who's defected. Like, there's ways to make it still loony without being absolutely just stupid.
Again, it's the Looney Tunes, so I'm going to reiterate my question. What was your mental state going into and through the movie?
My mental state was, I like Looney Tunes. I enjoy Looney Tunes. I want a fun cartoon. I'm getting that. Okay, I'm happy that I'm getting that. Oh, I'm still getting that. When are they going to take out the big baddie? Wait, big baddie isn't the big baddie. It's bullshit. Oh, this movie sucks.
So how was work that day? Just kidding.
So it sounds to me like maybe there were some expectation problems.
I like the Looney Tunes movie that no one likes. Nobody.
Right, but again, you're criticizing it for its logic. Like, is there a Looney Tunes movie with logic?
There's Looney Tunes movies without
No.
stupid.
Disagree. What is the most What is the biggest Looney Tunes movie that exists?
Most of them are cartoon TV shows. The 2011 movie is probably the biggest one besides this.
Space Jam.
Oh yeah, Space Jam.
Yeah.
That one has perfect
Explain
What am I
logic,
to me
saying?
Josh.
why
Space Jam,
it doesn't have stupid logic in Space Jam.
That
It
one was
is.
scientifically proven, so.
I agree, but it's that one is I would call loony. It's not stupid. It's not like, hey, we
Those
need
are adjectives and would depend on the person. That's my
we
point.
need.
Like, I think Space Jam is stupid.
Okay. Oh, I like Space Jam. I hate this movie.
Alright.
That's fair. All right, Josh, let's head on to your the heads of the state topic.
Heads of State is the new John Cena, Idris Elba action comedy movie. Action comedies like this are very hit and miss for me personally.
Yeah.
I either very much enjoy them or I sit there and I go, my eyeballs are drying out and terrible. Like, why did I waste my time with this garbage? And I'm a big John Cena fan. I genuinely like the stuff that I've seen him in. Idris Elba's pretty good. I've got no complaints about him. I know there's a lot of criticism towards John Cena in his acting career. I think this is the worst John Cena movie that exists. And I don't care how you view John Cena, this one's the worst. They play these action sequences like they're jokes, and it doesn't land. And his whole character is like, but America. And he's surprised that people criticize America. He's like, we're in a top secret American base. We're safe here. And Idris Elba's like, you're kidding, right? And he's like, but we're American. America, yeah. I can shoot guns. America. And it's like, okay. I'm so utterly bored.
So is it the character that you hate, or does he play the character poorly?
It's the character that I hate. Like, it was very clearly written as, like, somebody extremely left-wing making a mockumentary about how they view the right wing.
Okay.
Low intelligence. He's like a movie actor. He doesn't actually care about anything. He thinks so highly of himself. He thinks himself smarter than he actually is. And he's super patriotic. End of character.
So it's more of
So-
like the director character problem, and that's why it's John Cena's worst thing, not because John Cena.
Yeah, I mean, he's given what he's given, right? He's playing the character that he's given. I buy that he's the character that been given.
It's just not the
It's
best
just
pick.
like, this is supposed to be an action comedy. The action sequences are weak, and the comedy sequences suck.
So I gotta ask, this is worse than Daddy's Home 2.
I haven't seen Daddy's Home 2 or Daddy's
Okay.
Home 1, but I'm going to say probably.
Probably. Is this worse than the Barbie movie?
I haven't seen the Barbie movie.
Okay, those were the two that I was gonna bring up that I'm like, I think those are probably worse. Probably.
From what I know of the Barbie movie, I think the Barbie movie's probably better.
Okay.
There may be some expectation problems. I found out about this movie a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, action comedy, John Cena, Idris Elba, America versus Great Britain. Yeah. Plus, America had just won Britain in soccer, and there was a bunch of memes going around that said America 1776, Britain won, and like for the scoreboard, and it's really funny. And we just had the fourth, and I was like, we're primed up, we're ready to go. This movie's either gonna hit real good, or it's gonna just absolutely suck. And unfortunately, it came on the absolutely sucked side of things.
Well, that is too bad. Right
We
now
have
we
two
are
for
on
two.
a suck episode.
How'd you rate it?
if Conlon is saying it gets 1 point for animation or special effects, this one gets a 1 because it doesn't have good animation or special effects or action sequences. There's a scene where this American quirky guy is defending the president and the British Prime Minister by hiding behind a wall, holding a CRT TV in his left hand and a shotgun in his right hand, and the camera is looking at the room, and he's lining up and shooting these SWAT guys in armor protection, like bulletproof suits, as he kills them somehow, shooting through these walls, kind of like looking, and I'm like, really? This is what we're doing now? That was the best sequence in the movie that I just described to you. It's not good. I totally wasted my time with this. I hoped it could be good. It didn't end up being that way. I will not watch it again.
So is our lowest on our scale 1 or 0?
It's gotta be -1,000 because that's what I would give Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Oh. I don't know if I've ever given anything a 0. Ever. Even Star Wars The Last Jedi, I've been like, at least the effects give it a point, I guess.
It does. That's why it's not -1,001.
All right. We'll go on to my topic, which has already been discussed before, the Pitt. I watched it all in one sitting, basically. It was very good. And I think it's very realistic. And then I realized as I was like chatting with Josh that I have a lot of experience in a rural hospital versus like a city hospital. And so like I do believe that like I don't think it's realistic in the fact that everything that happens in that season, which is supposed to be a shift, would happen in a shift. Maybe in a year you might have all of those things happen. But it is crazy because like my dad works in a rural hospital where it's the only hospital in that county. It's the only thing closest to a couple of state parks. So like they would get a lot of weird random people, but mostly who they are working on are people that they know. So it was like really interesting. There was like a part where um, the seasoned guy had to work on somebody that was like close to him, and then he like broke down soon. And so I was like, I realize why in the show they showed it happen while he was at work, but from like my experience, I see like these people go in and like they dissociate so hard until they get everything done. And then once everything's done, then everybody crashes. And like, it's usually like when my dad would come home, that's when like things would like come down. He's like, okay, well, I can't tell you what happened, but we're having a moment. um, and then like later we would find out because it's a small town, so everybody knows what's going on. But there was this time I remember there was a tour bus that had flipped in Red Canyon. And so I think at the time the hospital only had 5 rooms and there was 72 people on that bus. And so like, yeah, there was gurneys in the hallways and stuff like that. And I remember like being in my dad's office and being like, what's going on? As this hospital is just like going crazy and like they're prepping for everything. And I remember my dad like running home to grab some shoes for somebody, and he goes back and he couldn't find the kid again who didn't have the shoes. But yeah, it put into like perspective like we need to be better to our healthcare workers because they're going through it daily. Like it might not be as hectic like it's showing in the show every single day, but that like just that day was enough to traumatize anybody, I feel like, for life. And I feel like nurses and doctors and first responders, EMS, they like no other word but like heroes. Like they have to think up of these things really quick. And like I think of my job and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I sand through this part, that's a lot of money. And they're like, oh, if I don't hit like the right vein or whatever, and I don't give this person like uh, the right blood type, or like if I screw up, I could be killing somebody. And me, if I screw up, I'm just costing a company that has billions of dollars a couple million or something. Like, I think that I'm glad that I feel like the Pit chooses realism over drama. Like, even though they're putting all of the drama right after the other, I like the realism of it. Um, and I like how, like, it's not like Grey's Anatomy where everybody is with everybody. And that's what the real show's about, is like who's with who. And this was actually focused on like what they're doing and like the teaching of it. And I like the aspect of it being a teaching hospital and that they were actually teaching the correct things of stuff. Because I saw one of them like doing CPR and I was like, he's not doing it right. That's way too quick. And then the guy's like, hey, slow down. You're doing it too fast. I was like, I'm hooked. Okay. It was like just something that simple.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, I didn't realize how much watching this show like brought up all of these memories that I forgot of like sitting in my dad's office. And like I remember one time I cut my finger and I was like sitting in there and I just was like waiting in my dad's office for a while until the doctor could like come in and like just check it for me. And I remembered in that time I had sealed it, and then he like checked it and he reopened it to see how deep it was, and I was like, just like went totally white, about to pass out. And my dad like just grabbed my head and like put it between my eyes. He's like, breathe. But yeah, it was so funny because it reminded me of so many things, and like the stories of my dad being like, oh yeah, we had an elementary teacher that she threw a clot, and my dad had to like do chest compressions on her until they could get her life flighted, and she passed away. And my dad's like, yeah, like, sorry, I tried. Like, he's like, we did all we could and stuff, but they're like having to learn, um, like they put in everything and take out all the stops, yet usually it doesn't end up in like a miracle. And I liked how the Pit did that as well. Like, you didn't really have a whole bunch of miracle cases like in other shows. And it shows you the reality that they lose more than they win. And that's a hard profession to have. Um, but yeah, so I like the Pit. it's it's
Very cool.
emotional for sure, but yeah, I'd give it an 8.
Awesome. Lauren, I love how you're being so positive this week, and I'm like, I hate cartoons!
Well,
And you're like, people save lives and we should honor them. I love that.
well, it's interesting because I was like talking with Josh the other day, and I was like, being a part of this podcast, I've started to really like think about what I'm viewing and like what I want to actually. Because before I was like watching whatever just to pass the time, you know, and now I'm like, why am I watching this? Does this add anything? And there's been a movie that like I was sitting there and I was watching. I can't remember what it was called now because I really don't care, because I ended like 20 minutes in because I was like, this is giving me no value, so I like stopped watching it. So I've been trying. It's actually helped me a lot to be viewing things that are more positive and or instructive, um, being on the
Stuff that's
podcast. So
actually worth talking about instead of like, well, I don't even really remember it.
yeah, yeah.
Let's turn on The Office for the 27th time. How I Met Your Mother, or
I'll probably go back and watch Parks and Rec again though, because I could talk about that for days.
yeah, but that one is positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. I'm excited for this next topic, Josh.
My next topic is also a topic has been brought up on the podcast before. K-pop Demon Hunters
Yeah.
is what it is actually called.
Redemption.
Okay. Conlon, positive or negatives? Where should I start?
Let me see. I feel like we'll keep going with the trend. I was super negative Lauren was super positive, so you need to be negative again.
Negative again. Okay. My negatives for K-pop Demon Hunters is the boy band in it is the ugliest boy band they possibly could have drawn.
You douchebag.
And my other negative is the ending isn't really, like, great. Uh, they really just, like, it kind of just, like, ends, and you're like, wait, what? On to my positives. The songs are great. The animation is phenomenal. The sequences are incredible. Uh, it feels to me like the scenes in Arcane where they're doing the Imagine Dragons fight scenes. Like
Wow.
that's the feeling.
Okay.
It's really in the first song when they're on the plane. That's where it's most like that. But even when they're not fighting and they're doing the romance song, which is my personal favorite song, it still gives me that kind of feeling where it feels like the music and what is happening is actually like intertwined deeply, not just like surface level, where it's
That's
not
cool.
like just the music is the emotion. It's like, no, the lyrics are actually mattering. The the instrumentals is pushing the emotion of it, and it's all tying together, kind of like those Arcane fight scenes do. And I love this movie. It is fantastic, and I've watched it twice already.
Wow.
Genuinely, I watched it once, and I was like, holy crap, this is great. I love this. And then the other night, I was sitting around, and I was like, I'm kind of tired. I want to play on my Steam Deck. What should I put on? Oh, well, my For You page on TikTok, ever since I watched it, has literally just been K-pop Demon Hunters. So I guess I'll just turn on K-pop Demon Hunters again. Um, the overall message of the story, I think, is where it truly, truly shines. Because, like, we can say, hey, songs are great, emotion's great, character, the animation's great. Like, we can say all of these things. But, like, the meaning behind it is all about how shame can control you and make you susceptible to the demons in your own mind. Um, like, both of our main characters have things that they're hiding about choices that they've made or aspects about themselves. And it's the shame, like the big bad of the movie is a demon lord, right? And he's the voice inside the demon's head that controls them. And it's literally them opening up to each other and finding that person who, when you open that side of you up to, makes you feel better about it instead of worse. And they both, like, it's that romance song. It's why it's my favorite. It's because that's when they both are like, this is kind of who I am and what I'm really ashamed of. And both of them to each other are like, that's okay. We all make mistakes. And they just feel so accepted to each other. And it's so wholesome and great. And, like, the main character is, like, part demon. And so she gets the demon marks. And it gets worse the more secretive and the more shame she feels, which makes her more susceptible to what the demon lord is whispering in her head to continue his control over her. You have a sequence at the end where the demon lord is taking control of everybody and he's attacking everybody's insecurities to make them feel shame, to get them to do what he wants them to do. It is my favorite part about this movie. It's what makes it truly, truly special. The popularity of this movie has grown. It's already been greenlit for a trilogy, which makes me like, okay, maybe they can continue it and fix that little part at the end that I feel like is just a little bit of a wobbly landing. And maybe they can have things end like I so badly wanted it to end for our two main characters.
I am very surprised by this review, and I would have watched this with my stepsister, or my sister-in-law, not stepsister, um, because she's into K-pop. But you actually make me kind of want to watch this movie, which is crazy.
I could not recommend watching this movie enough. If we want to talk about how what we're watching impacts us, like I was at a low point when I was like, I guess I'll turn on this animation movie. Like, this wasn't something that, like, was in my face. As soon as I watched it, it was in my face. There's a joke in the show that somebody's scrolling through TikTok and everything is the, what do you call them? The
Saja Boys.
Saja Boys, yeah. And, like, no K-pop Demon Hunters was on my For You page. I watched it, then it was only K-pop Demon Hunters. I have been trying to be like, okay, we don't need K-pop Demon Hunters anymore. Let's have some other content on my For You page. I've had to like specifically try and look for it. But like I was feeling kind of down, kind of like today is kind of a waste. I'm not really doing anything with my day, whatever. And then I watched it, and it's a message of hope and perseverance and accepting, like, hey, you're not perfect all of the time. And I came out of it, and I was like, hey, the rest of my day can be good too. My tomorrow can be good. And I literally felt better having watched it.
Wow. Does this make you want to get into K-pop?
No. Honestly,
Okay.
all of the music is very familiar.
Okay.
If you listen to it, you're going to be like, well, that sounds like a song I've heard before. I don't know exactly what it is, but it sounds familiar. At least that was my experience with it. I don't think any of the music was like, oh my gosh, this is so new and different. Like, it's not really a K-drama. It's not really K-pop. It just happens to be Korean pop, techno-y K-pop music. I mean, it is K-pop music, but like, it's familiar enough that you're not going to be like, this is a new genre for me to delve into. I did add some of those songs to my liked playlist. Like I said, the songs are all really, really good. A lot of people are talking about how catchy they are. I'm not like on that board. It's not like I'm constantly singing soda pop.
Are you, Lauren?
Just saying that two of the songs have made it onto the top 10 chart of music right now. I did also put music onto my, I bought them to put them onto my headphones when I go swimming. So,
Two of the Soulja Boy songs are the two most popular male K-pop songs in U.S. history. And
Wow.
three of the girls are the top three female K-pop songs in U.S. history.
I didn't
They're
realize this was that big.
they're
they're
very
really
good
good.
songs. The songs are really, really great.
Okay.
I just think the movie part and the actual story and what I got out of it is so much more than just some good songs and an enjoyable movie.
I
Okay.
will actually watch this.
My question is, did the popcorn eyes pull you out at all?
No, it's an animation.
It's an anime thing, and it just like kind of, I don't know, startled me. I don't know, that's not the
I
right
thought it
word.
was hilarious. Okay, so they see the boys. There's the three main girls, and they see the boy band for the first time, and it goes over them, and it's like the baby face one, the whatever one, the whatever one, and it's like and the muscly one, and it literally turned one of the girl's eyes into two pairs of abs. And then his shirt pops off and it turns into popcorn, like shooting out of her eyes, and the other one is like eating the popcorn.
It's
But they
just-
make face and the animation with the faces are changing all of the time. Like, usually they're 3D, they look really good. very often they will change into like 2D emoji faces or whatever. It's very in line with the movie. It did not take me out at all. I absolutely love that scene.
Okay.
All right. Okay, well, and we had you rate it, right?
No.
No,
Oh, what's your rating of it?
9 out of 10.
Wow.
High rating. Do you think that's recency bias at all, or do you?
Well, I have to give it a 9 because how many movies have I watched within 72 hours of having just watched it
Fair enough.
and enjoyed it both times, right? The
Pretty
cat
rare.
is amazing. The bird is hilarious. One of my other favorite scenes is the girl is asking the guy like why the bird has a hat, and he's like, "Well, I made it for the cat, but the bird kept stealing it." I'm like, that doesn't explain why the hat exists.
Why'd you make
What are
it for
you
the
talking
cat?
about, dude? You're just not giving an actual explanation to the question asked. But like, I love the cat. I love the bird. This movie's just great. It is great. The only real negative is like I feel like the ending isn't truly like the end of the story.
Yeah, it didn't feel 100% satisfying to me either. So I think they had an idea that it was going to get a second one, but I might just be making that up in my head to make myself feel better about that ending.
Well, whether they were planning on it or not, they will
They
now
are
have
now.
three
Yeah.
three full movies. So
All
I
right.
don't know if they'll keep it up, but I sure hope they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So our last topic and our shared topic is Cool Runnings because we had Eddie the Eagle last week. All right. What were your thoughts on that, Conlon?
I absolutely love this movie, and I forget how much I love this movie until I rewatch this movie and remember that it is just gold. Everything about this is great. I love every actor in this. I love the way that they act their part in this movie. All of them smash it. There's times where I feel like everything comes together in a movie and it's just magic. And for me, Cool Runnings is that magic. We were quoting it last time, but like, Sanka, you dead, man? Great. The part where he opens up the freezer and he's like freezing and the hair breaks off. Great. Them trying to walk on the ice for the first time. Great. The inspirational parts. They're running and they're like, they get up their coach is fantastic. The coach has these struggles where where he cheated, and that whole storyline is just, it's great. You are so rooting for this bobsled team. The world watching, you feel like you're watching with the rest of the world. You feel like you are part of that Olympics. That is so impressive. You know how hard that is to do with other. I can't think of another sports movie where I feel like I am part of the audience that is experiencing it at the time that this event happened. But with Cool Runnings, I feel like I was watching the 1988 Olympics. That's crazy. I this movie is everything that this podcast is about. It is about inspiration. It is about hope. It is about rising above your challenges. It's about magic, and this movie is magic. I should have more to say about it, but I love this movie. I love it.
All right, Josh, how did you like the history of it?
I mean, it's more historically accurate than Eddie the Eagle.
Yeah,
Slightly.
slightly.
Eddie the Eagle's like 5% accurate. I think this one was given like a 7% accuracy rating.
Is there something you're looking at when you look at the accuracy things, or is this you pulling the numbers out of?
Oh, with Eddie the Eagle, I looked it up. I was genuinely curious. This one, I was just pulling out of thin air as like just kind of like what I kind of know. Colin's right. I think this movie's accurate, or is magic. It's got so many one-liners. The jokes hit really well. The story is all about hope and makes you feel good. It's absolutely wonderful. Um, for me personally, I think upon rewatching I last time I said Eddie the Eagle is just slightly worse than this one. Um, I think they're both on the same page. I think it's just depending on, do you want the jokes? Do you want to laugh? Do you want to feel that kind of side of it, or do you want the more serious tone?
But Cool Runnings has both, and it does both so well.
It just wasn't that for me.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
I just don't like it as much as you do, plain and simple. That's
That's
just
totally
the
fair.
truth of it. Like I get what you're saying. I think the cast is perfect. The story that they told was great. The jokes that they told were great. Like everything you said is true. It's just like for me, it's not that high. I don't find myself going back to Cool Runnings or absolutely adoring it. It's just a really good movie and a good watch to me.
It is one of the few comedies that makes me laugh every single time I watch it. And I've watched this movie days in a row. There was one time where I watched this movie every day for 4 days straight.
Yeah, I could not do that. I would be absolutely sick of it.
I love this movie.
It's funny because I actually did look up how accurate Cool Runnings was, since you looked up how accurate Eddie the Eagle was. It's not very accurate at all. But still, I love this show. But like the characters, and it made me kind of sad looking up the thing. So let's just pretend it was accurate and that these characters were like this.
This is
Um,
recorded video. Didn't you know that?
oh yeah, I forgot this was a documentary.
Yeah. This is
um,
These are actually the bobsledders.
but I really like about the time frame was the same. Um, but like they actually it was two Americans that wanted to get they're like, we know we need fast runners to that would make a good bobsled team, and they couldn't get it from like the Olympic runners, and so they went into the Jamaican military, and then they actually practiced on base with these guys.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, but yeah, it was about almost the same time frame though, and then that everybody was excited to see them at the Olympics versus like how they were like no one really wanted them there. But in fact, like some they did get a bobsled from somebody else's team. Like they gave them the bobsled, and I thought that was cool.
That's cool.
But yeah, I love this movie, but it's really funny. When I watched it as a kid, we had this filter machine that like you'd hook up to your TV, and if it had swear words or say like something bad, it would like bleep it out. So
Mm.
like all your sound would just go. And so there was lines in there that I'd never heard before, because when it bleeps it out, it will take a huge chunk of what was said. So I never got the joke of where he's breathing outside in Canada and he's like, "Hey, what are you smoking?" And he's like, "I'm not smoking, I'm breathing." And I thought that was really funny. And it made me laugh even more because it censored that. And then, yeah, I quote this all the time. When I was, I'm the youngest, and so I always would have to sit in the back of any vehicle. And there's the part where he's like, "I'm the driver." And he's like, "No, you're in the back." He's like, "I'm the driver." He's like, "No, the driver needs to be like dedicated, the lives of his team and everything." He's like, "Back is nice." And he like sits back there and he's like, "Oh, this is nice." So like whenever I would get into a car and I would get like the hump in the back, I'm like, "This is nice." And I was always quoting that, but I don't think anybody realized. But yeah, I always get chills when they like lift up the bobsled and like walk it across, and it's just a really good feel good movie with like that perseverance and like doing your best, doesn't matter where you come from. And I don't know what it is, but I think I really like Olympic stories, because like I'm not into a lot of like basketball movies or football movies or anything, but I'm like, if you throw Olympics in there, I guess I'm in.
What basketball and football movies have you seen?
Um, what's the?
High School Musical does not count.
I actually haven't seen High School Musical, so
I kind of don't believe you.
I honestly never watched them. My dad really didn't. My dad was kind of the person who would like take us to go to the movies, and he wasn't willing to watch it, so I never saw it. Um, I've seen The Blind Side. I've
Okay.
seen. I'm trying to think of if I've seen it literally any. I know of like
Remember the
two.
Titans.
I have seen that. I think I need to rewatch it though.
Rudy.
Um, I know about that one though.
What's it
Uh,
called? Hoser? I think that's what it's called.
Hosiers.
Hosiers.
I like it. It doesn't appeal to me, so I haven't really watched a lot of them. But
Okay.
you
Great.
throw Olympic in there, and I'm like, I'm there. I don't know what it is.
Greatest game ever played.
Miracle.
Nope.
Miracle is Olympics. You should watch Miracle because it's great.
Is that the ice skating one?
That's the hockey
Hockey.
one.
Hockey. Okay. Maybe if it was figure skating. Just kidding.
Have you seen Cutting Edge?
Nope.
Blades
Okay, that one is figure skating, and it's great. Actually, it's legitimately really good.
All right, guys. If there's any ones that you want me to watch, put it in the comments, and I might watch.
You genuinely should watch Miracle. It's a very good movie. It's probably one of the best. I know it's probably Conlon's favorite sports movie. I think.
Probably, yeah. I switch a lot, but probably.
The other two I would recommend is Greatest Game Ever Played. It's got Shia LaBeouf. It's a golf movie.
very
Conlon
good.
held off on it for a long time because it was a golf movie. How'd you like it, Conlon?
It's a great movie. Legitimately a great movie.
And Remember the Titans. It's just amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's our episode this week, guys. Remember to watch things that help uplift you instead of just scrolling. And we'll see you next week.